Ladies and gentlemen, all hell is about to break out in the Middle East. Now, that's not even me talking about that. That's not even my words. That is words from the United States president, the president of the United States, the most powerful man on the planet. Now, if you guys have been following this channel and our other channels, one of the, like I think last week or maybe the week before, what the date I actually gave for this to happen was the 14th of February. The 4th of February, on a Friday, Netanyahu had just been over the United States to meet with Donald Trump. And again, remember, I always say on this channel, ladies and gentlemen, forget about the flim-flammer from the, from the political aides and the, the diplomats. The only thing that matters, and the only thing that ever matters, is the personal relationship between those two leaders. So when Donald Trump and Netanyahu are having a face-to-face meeting, there will be things said behind closed doors. Now, you guys can speculate what those may or may not be. But there'll be things said behind those closed doors that nobody else will be privy to. There will be agreements and alliances. So it doesn't matter what the mainstream media are reporting. This politician said that politician said that. None of that matters. Interpersonal relationships. I always harp on about it. So last week or the week before, when Netanyahu was out and Donald Trump said they're going to do a job with Gaza, they're going to own it. Now it comes out, and I'll show you a video in a second, that Donald Trump is saying that if the hostages are not released by Saturday, so I guess the day after when I was saying, if they're not released by Saturday at 12 o'clock, all hell is going to break loose. But let me go onto the share screen, guys. We'll play this video, and then we will unpack this a little bit for you guys. So here's the headline. Trump issues Gaza ceasefire ultimatum to Hamas as he warns all hell is going to break out if hostages not returned. Now, the article, I think the article could have given a little bit more, because what he actually says a little bit more than that.
I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off, and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. I'm speaking for myself. Israel can override it, but from myself, Saturday at 12 o'clock, and if they're not here, all hell is going to break out.
So, let's just go through the headline now. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to go through that. I want to keep this video relatively short because I do have a lot of points to add to this. So if you look at his wording there, I mean, not so much his wording, but his rhetoric about all the hostages need to be released. One of the things I've said, ladies and gentlemen, the inevitability of this is that I don't believe all the hostages will ever be released, because I don't believe all the hostages can be released, if you guys can read between the lines there. And I would say that Donald Trump knows this. I would say everybody knows this. And this is why they're moving forwards. And this is why Donald Trump is saying he wants all the hostages released. Now, if all the hostages are not released by Saturday, then all hell's going to break loose from what Donald Trump's saying. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I think last week it was, I gave the date of the 14th of February before any of this came out. So if you've not done so already and you guys want to know what's coming next in this crazy, crazy world heading towards global conflict on an industrial scale, hit the like and the subscribe and the follow buttons down below, because it really helps me out when you guys do that. So let's backtrack a little bit now and look at Iran, because Iran is the main game in this region. The Iranians are now saying, from my video yesterday, I'm just going to recap. The Iranians are now saying that the Iranians are now saying that they need to develop an atomic weapon to protect themselves from a potential invasion from the United States. While the United States are also saying that the Iranians can't have a an atomic weapon, or they'll get invaded. So can you see now the absolute insanity of this situation now? We have literally got this situation now where the Americans are pointing at the Iranians are pointing at the Americans, and it's all just moving forwards at literally a breakneck pace. Now, Donald Trump's temperament and his communication skills are absolutely fantastic. You know, nobody can say Donald Trump's not a great communicator. But if we look at what's about to happen, you know, moving forwards, it's going to be absolutely insane, guys, okay? I've been saying on this channel for the longest time, literally since 2023, that the United States will invade Iran March 2026. Now, if we go back in time, 2023, November 2023, remember when I was saying that the United States will invade Iran March 2026? People were saying, oh, Sean, it's not even going to happen. Donald Trump's not going to win. He's behind in the polls in the US election. All right, let's just wait. You know, oh, Sean, Donald Trump looks like he's winning, but he's saying he's going to have peace in the Middle East. Okay, let's just wait. Oh, Sean, but Donald, can you see now the path that is laid out in front? When I was saying that there's going to be this divergence between the United Kingdom and the Americans, you know, where the United Kingdom will lead in NATO, but in Eastern Europe by 2025. Well, guess what? Last week, the United Kingdom were handed over, you know, I guess the reins, the leading responsibility of this conflict. I've done so many videos about this, ladies and gentlemen. And now what we're seeing from the mainstream, and now what we're seeing from the mainstream is these things actually happening. So if I sat here now and I said, I think the United States might invade Iran, you guys would probably say, oh, but Sean, that's pretty obvious just looking at what's happening today. Okay, fine. So when I'm saying these other things that seem wild, like the United Kingdom is going to be part of the United States by 2030, my opinion, my speculation, guys, okay? When I'm saying things like, you know, we're heading towards a global conflict on an industrial scale, you guys should take notice, and you guys should, you know, just look at my track record. Look at the things I've said previously. Look at the things I've said previously, and they're happening now. Ladies and gentlemen, things are happening now, and I don't believe there's any chance that we as humanity can stop this conflict, what's been brewing for a long time. I don't think we can stop this. And I think at the end of this all, we are literally going to have a new world order where we're going to have, and again, I hate to say this, but I genuinely don't think that the Europeans, led by Britain, will be able to stop the Russians. Now, that's not a negativity on the British. That's a negativity on the rest of the Europeans. You know, I think the British will take the lead. The British will do whatever they can. But I don't think the Europeans can take up the slack, and I don't think the Europeans militarily have what it takes to, to stop and push back a full-scale Russian invasion. I really don't, ladies and gentlemen. So in that context, what I would see happening is the United States taking control of Canada, Greenland, Panama Canal, by de facto Mexico. The United States would also take control of the United Kingdom because they take control of the United Kingdom. That gives them access to the Falklands. The Falklands gives them access to Antarctica. I would also see the Russians pushing into Europe, taking control of the whole of Europe, and then merging with China because they will be financially bankrupt. And that, I guess, would be like the New World Order. And that, to me, sounds like Oceania and is it Eurasia on George Orwell's 1984? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not calling that right now, but what I am calling is the conflicts that we have now, global conflict of an industrial scale, and the United Kingdom becoming part of the United States by 2030. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to Mac to Grid. I'll get you guys another video later.